and welcome to the TUF Woman Table. I was told last time I looked like I was really serious, so I needed to liven it up a little bit. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to do that. So I'm going to do this. So this is a table where I invite some super badass women like Miss Teri Tomasetti here. I'm so excited, and I hope I said that right, to take a seat and join in on the conversation. We're gonna have a fun one. It's gonna be fun too. So at TUF Woman, I believe that all women have the power within themselves to live an authentic life, free from fear, confident in who they are, and empowered as fuck to go out and get exactly what they want. Y'all, it is incredibly possible, and Teri can attest to that. Amen. Amen. Whatever that looks like to them, because I believe everybody has a different ideal of success. Not everybody's the same. So I share this belief by championing tough women like Teri, who have walked through the fire, felt the fear, risen like a phoenix, faced adversity and kept pushing through it all. Women who now live the life they want as the woman they were created to be, and women who own their story so other women can embrace and own theirs as well. So I'm really excited for this, you guys. I'm excited to keep bringing this on. For everybody that comes in, say, hey, this is a live show. So I don't know that I emphasized that the last time. Please feel free to interact, ask questions. We will answer every single one that we can get to. And also, if you resonate with this, if you love this, please share this out. Let your friends, family, whomever know about it, and pull a seat up. Tell the kids they're not making them chicken nuggets right now, and they can wait till 8:30. Because you're about to watch the best thing in the whole world. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest, entrepreneur, hair goddess, and women's motivational empowerment speaker, Teri Tomasetti. Welcome to the table, Teri.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I'm so excited to be at your table. I mean, talk about empowered women.
Right.
I mean, this is just amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited for you to be here. I feel like we've been waiting a while. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself and who you are so that everybody knows what it is. And then we're going to dive deep into your story and the whole background behind, burn that bitch, because I love the story. So yes. So please tell us a little bit about you.
I am not only a motivational and empowerment speaker, but I also am a card reading minister, which is, that's a little bit the strange part of the story. I am a shampoo dealer, which is really my favorite part. It's my favorite way to say it because it's just too funny. And I am an entrepreneur, and I realized that I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I mean, when I was younger, my father put me to work, and I said, I need to be paid for this. I can't do this volunteer work. I need to be paid. So even when I was like 12 or 13, I was bringing in the entrepreneur and saying, hey, I can make money with this. I can do something with this. And so now here I am with a warrior goddess deck being written, or writing it right now, and things that I never saw coming, and a book in my future.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yes. So dive further into so tell them first of all, because they're probably going, shampoo dealer. What is a shampoo? So tell them what a shampoo dealer is, other than the obvious, and what got you into being a shampoo dealer. And then tell us a little bit about who Teri is, where how you got started and everything, and how your journey has been thus far.
Well, I started about, let's go back a little more than 10 years ago when I got clean. I was an addict. I was addicted to opiates, and I got clean. And that was kind of the start of my pivot. I had just lost my father. My mom, I had moved in to help take care of him. My mom was here. I was working full time. I was a I was in management, in retail. I was working ridiculous hours. I was never home. And one of my children got really sick and ended up in the hospital. Actually, two of my children got sick. One got sick and wasn't in there that long, my youngest. And I was not able to be there fully. And then my son also ended up in and out of the hospital. And when he went in the first time, I was out of town on business. And so really at that time, I started thinking, I'm not loving this. I'm really not loving not being home. And so fast forward a little bit, my boss was amazing. I loved him, but he was leaving. He left the company. And lo and behold, the management position wasn't offered to me. They meant to, but they didn't offer it. And I knew at that point that I'd really had enough anyway. My mom was starting to slip. She was starting to not remember things and not hear us, and things weren't just weren't going the way I thought they should. So I called my partner, the man that behind the action, and I said, "Look, sweetie, it's over. I'm done. Go back to cooking," because he's a chef, so you're going to have to go back to that. I'm going to stay home with our daughter and my mom, and we'll work out the way we did before. We'll just switch places. And I stayed home to take care of my mom. I was able to, work a little bit part-time here and there in between while I was taking care of her. And I was working on a business with him, a food business. We were trying to work on, he has an amazing blue cheese recipe, but it's really hard to break into food. And so when my mom got really sick, my hair started to fall out. I put it under a head wrap. I put my robe on and I stopped leaving the house altogether. And I started to get more and more depressed and more upset. And so when my mom died, I sat on the side of what used to be in her room, what used to be her bed, which had become mine. And I cried and I said, "That's it. I'm just going to have to die because I'm not enough. I can't do this. I can't do what she did. I am not my mother." And then I heard for the first time ever this smack upside my head, and it said, "What are you crying for? I'm dead." And the very next day, I sat down to talk to my brother and sister and have all these emotional conversations. And I heard clearly in the back of my head, yeah, now let's burn this bitch. And that was the day that we were going to cremate my mother. And my mother had promised us that she would haunt us if we didn't get a good deal on her cremation. And so that was kind of like the start of wait, I think there's something going on. I used to hear voices. I'm hearing more stuff going on here. And when I relayed that to my brother and sister, they said, "There's no doubt that's mom." And that really started my card reading and all of that stuff, because I had a need to do something. I had a house to save. This house was not free. I had to figure something out. And so I really needed to start figuring out what to do. And the food business wasn't working that well. My other half was out cooking elsewhere, and I took a couple of jobs outside of the house. It just didn't work. It just didn't work for us at all. And like I said, my hair was falling out. So my physician friend said to me, "Let me help you with your hair." And I said, "Okay, great." I had read a book and I wanted to start a business anyway, so I needed to learn something. So I thought, well, let me hear what she has to say, because I know now she's in an MLM, but I'm not going to do an MLM because those are just that's not for me. So I'm not going to. So don't even think about it, but let me hear what you have to say. So she turned me on to a podcast called Often Ambitious. And the two women at the top who run the podcast are in the hair care company. And I said, okay, these ladies are very expensive to coach with, but if I buy a product pack, now I'm in their group. Now I'm going to coach with these girls. So I wasn't selling any shampoo. I wasn't even using it. It was fine. I didn't need hair. It was okay that when I got in the shower, my hair fell out in clumps because I was wearing a head wrap. Nobody was going to see me anyway. I was doing a podcast, which just hit 1K, by the way, 1,000 views. And so I called my friend and I said, you're right. I do need the hair care. I never planned on using it. I just was going to use it on my daughter because she needed it. My hair was, again, just fine under that head wrap falling out by the clump. It's okay. And she showed me the compensation plan. And I said, ooh, interesting. Okay, I want to know more. And she said, here's my link. And I said, okay, cool. And boom, I signed up. And she almost died because she had no clue that she thought I might buy the products. Never expected me to say, I'm in. I need something. And the thing that I wanted doesn't exist, but I want a podcast. And those girls at the top, well, they know about podcasting. I never intended to jump in to form a team to find out that I was going to get founder shares and do all this amazing thing. I never expected that. That was not part of the plan. I was selling off that shampoo and I was never amazing hair. And you're sitting there going, wait, my hair's not falling out. Wait, I'm getting up in the morning and my hair's not falling out and I can run my fingers through it. Things change. And I told him I'd never go live, but clearly, as you know, I go live. I already went live today. I go live a couple times a day usually. And people come for card reads. They're loving it. And now they're finding that they can be empowered in whatever the way they want. Maybe it's by joining my MLM, but maybe it's by starting a podcast or starting a talk show or getting on the TED Talks or starting I'm going to homes for women who, like me, were single, didn't know what to do, became an addict because everything that was going on, the stories in my head that I didn't know how to deal with and all of that. That doesn't have to happen when we're empowered.
Yep.
And our childhood story, our past life stories, those don't have to rule what we have now. And I think there's a lot of, and I'm not a single mom anymore, but I was a single mom. And that stuff is hard. That shit's hard. And even when you find someone, if you haven't, we were very blessed to mesh our families, but if your families aren't meshed right away, you're still somewhat of a single mom. And so I want to be out here for those moms that say, I want a better life for my kids. I don't want to go through all that baloney. I want to find a better life. I want to find a coach. I want to do something better. And well, as you know, that's what coaches are out here for, Ashley. And a lot of us, that's kind of what we do on the side, in the middle, as a byproduct.
Well, and I think with coaching especially, and I want to dive into it here in a second about how you got into the podcast, because I thought that was a really fantastic story. But I think as coaches, I know in my own journey, and mine was 5-6 years ago, I'm coming fresh out of a divorce. And now I'm 25 and I'm living with my mom again. I'm a single mom to now 2 children. I have 2 exes now. And like I said, I'm getting divorced. I'm living with my mom. I'm like, oh my God, I'm working a job I hate. I'm like, this sucks. There has just like, this can't be it. This can't be it. Cause you see those women and they're like, they're living this life and they're happy. And you're going, okay, well, if it works for them,
yep.
Why can't it work for me? Like, something has to be different. And I remember at one point I finally said, okay, I'm not going to date anymore. I'm going to learn to love myself and I'm just going to focus on me and I'm going to do my inner work. Cause I think that's where we really all start, is figuring out our own shit. We have to sit with our shit. As I talked to some girl today, like, you have to learn to sit with your shit. You just have to do it. It's part of it. And I remember going, man, I just wished there was this woman that would take me by the hand and be like an older woman. And I would just say, hey, listen, doesn't have to be this hard. You can, I can show you the promised land, as it's called. Like, I can help you get through all this pain. But we both know that that's necessary. That's part of the growth. Growth is not this easy thing. It's very painful. And now looking back, I got to year 5 of my work, and I'm like, I did not realize I was already coaching people before I became a coach. And I turned around one day and I said, oh my gosh, I became that woman. I became the woman that I was looking for a very long time ago. And I saw, when you say that, I think it's funny because I think you don't realize you are, you are a coach until you get to that point where you're like, oh, I can help people now. I can help women, not, I can show them what needs to be done and stuff like that. So I think that's really neat. And just as we're checking in, everybody, because we have a ton of women coming on, say hey if you can, as you come in, drop hearts if you love what we're talking about. We're going to dive a little bit more, and Teri's got some wonderful stuff to discuss. But Teri, I really want you to talk about your podcast, because I thought it was neat how you got started. And I think that was one of the things that we connected on, because I used to have a podcast, and I remember us having that conversation. It's like, oh yeah, I had one, and I actually am now pivoting it into a live show, which, had you asked me when I was starting the podcast, did you ever think that you would pivot into a live show? I'd be like, I don't even like going live on Facebook right now. What are you talking about? And here we are, episode 2 of a live Facebook show, lo and behold. So yeah, tell everybody how you got started on your podcast, because I actually love that story, and I think it's really neat.
The podcast started because, well, I think that when you're in an MLM, the idea is to connect with people and to offer something that will help them. It's about service. It's not about what you have. And so when you connect with somebody, my friend connected with me and she said, if you're looking for information, because we had talked about, I want to learn about this spiritual entrepreneur, and she said, try this podcast. And I said, okay, I don't know what a podcast is, but I know it's on my phone. I see it on my phone. Okay, so tell me what it is. And it was called Often Ambitious. And so I started to listen. And I started at the beginning, because that's how I am. I have to start at the very beginning. I can't start at the end. I'm the beginning girl, got to go all the way to the end. And so I started at the beginning, and I started to dive in, and I went, wow. And what happened was, one of the ladies said, and I'll never forget this because I went, oh my God, I need to work with her. And what she said was, all right, you guys, I want to tell you, I know you can see where I am now. I know how successful I am now, and I know that you're seeing this. But remember, don't compare my day, however many I am in the business, to your day one or life or whatever. She said, there was a time when I used to drive into my apartment complex. And as I would drive in, I would go like this past, I'm pretty sure it was an apartment complex, but you get the idea. I would drive past the mailbox. I would not stop. I would drive past the mailbox. Now, the reason she was doing that was because she was going deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. And if she didn't open the mailbox, then the bills didn't exist. She did not have to deal with it. And I went, oh my gosh, I've been there. I've been that woman who doesn't want to do that, who doesn't want to look because there might be one more bill and it might break me. And I don't know if I'll make it. And so I had been that woman. And so I immediately wanted to know more. And I started diving into it. And what I realized was that these women were coaches who didn't coach anymore. One was a photographer, one was a coach. And he was a coach she's a coach that doesn't really coach anymore, but that podcast. And they just made it sound like anybody could do it. I had 2 friends with me, and they wanted, our goal was to empower more women and to plant a seed for other women. It just made it sound like anybody could do it. I had 2 friends went ahead and did something that would empower women, then we could get more women's voices and we could reach more women. And we realized that these women had a podcast and that we could do that. And so I saw an immediate advantage to jump into the company that they were in with my friend because I knew that she was training with these ladies all the time because I had seen her pictures and seen her Zoom calls and all the stuff that she was doing and the trainings she was doing with these women. So my goal was just to train with them. And so I started looking at the podcast. I started thinking about it. My friends and I started talking about it, and we started getting ready, and we started getting it all set up, and we started talking about the website and this and that and what you're going to do. And then one day I was watching Angie Lee. And if you don't follow her, you should, because she's a hot ticket. And she does Pays to Be Brave. And so when Angie came on, she was doing a Q&A. I didn't realize that it was a podcast live, or maybe I did, but I just didn't think about it. But she was taking questions. And so she came to my question when she asked, what are you afraid of? And I said, to start my podcast. And she came back with, Teri Tomasetti, starting a podcast, it's a fucking button. Push the fucking button. And I went, you know what? She's right. It's called Perfectly Flawed. Who cares if it's flawed? And my daughter and I went to work, and on Christmas Day, we, without anybody's help, because the girls obviously weren't available on Christmas Day, we started and we released my story, and then we started releasing Tammy's story. Lauren, our third host, has not released her story yet. She's still in her warrior goddess phase. She is still burning that bitch and becoming the warrior goddess that I already know is there and is like ready to explode into the universe and maybe even onto your show. You know, we'll have to.
Hey, listen, have no doubt she will come on. I feel it.
She will be there. In her wrist cuffs, like her true warrior goddess, you know, outfit. You watch. You wait. We are making it happen.
Hey.
And so we pushed the button and we started the podcast, and we started with, on some days, there was no guest. I had to speak, or Tammy had to speak. One of us had to speak. And on some days there were amazing guests. But we were just grateful. We're on episode 39. We have 1,000 downloads already. And we're becoming amazing. We have more and more amazing guests that keep coming on, bigger and bigger guests. We're announcing a book tonight. We're getting ready to download one tonight. And one of my empowered friends released a book called Unstoppable.
Oh, I love that.
So we're gonna you know, give the information on where to find it. Her name is Allison Robertson Boris. It's AllisonRobertson.com. But she's an actress and she's this like powerhouse. And I said, "Ooh, we want to talk about your book. Can we help you release?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." So, you know, it's about empowering women, even women who you would think, oh my gosh, why would she need me? She's an actress. Well, guess what? We all need each other.
And I find that a lot of the times what happens is we stop ourselves before we even ask. And what we realize is that if we just ask, you know, because if you never ask, the answer is always no. If you don't start, you know, if you don't start, then you're always going to be in the same spot. And a lot of the times I've had people ask me, they're like, well, what's the secret? I said, sometimes really the secret is just starting. Even before you think, oh, I have to have this system, because I used to be really guilty for that. Like, I can't start my business until this, and I can't do this until this. You know, when I started my podcast, I was like, I don't want to start my podcast until I have this, until I have like 12 episodes worth of content, and then I'll release everything, you know. And someone was like, no, just start, like just start. You know, I had someone that I talked to today, they're like, I think sometimes we get caught up in information paralysis and this need to learn everything before we start. And what happens is we accumulate all this knowledge and then we don't utilize it for anything. And we're sitting there, we're like, oh, I'm just full of this knowledge. But guess what? You're not doing? You're not serving yourself. You're not serving somebody who could be benefited by the knowledge you have. So just imagine the 1,000 people who downloaded whose lives may not have been impacted because you guys did not start, you just didn't push play on that podcast. Like, you didn't push play, and now look, and like you said, and just be, and I think what else is, we get that, I think it's called idol, I call it idol syndrome, but I feel like there's really a name for it, where we put these people on a pedestal and we forget they're just people like us. Like, they're just people like us. They got a story. They started somewhere. And you don't know until you reach out to them. You just don't know. We've interacted on Facebook for a little bit, but until I started posting out for this TV, this live Facebook show, forgive me, I'm a little tired, I would have never known half these women. And when it took me 2 weeks to even put this show out, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I said, in my mind at the beginning, I was like, what if nobody wants to be on it? What if nobody wants to watch it? And I said, you know what? You're not going to know until you put it out there. But I could have easily let that be my story. And I'm telling you, you've seen it and you've heard me talk about it. The moment I put it out there, that was it. Like, literally the moment I put it out there, ask and you shall receive. And now we're booked out till next week, and I've got massive amounts of more interviews. So it's like the next month and a half is going to end up being booked out in the next 2 weeks. So.
Yep. Ask and it shall happen.
So going and pivoting a little bit into when you were going through all this stuff, because that's just such a crazy, like, you said you were addicted and you went through all that, and you were a single mom for a while and you went through all this. Your mom died. You ended up with this house that was just a lot. What were really key points of your transformation? Like, what were things that you took away from everything you went through?
I was very, very blessed with family support. I have a family that is always supportive and there for me, that's a huge blessing. And a lot of people don't have that. However, everybody has a tribe. Everybody has a tribe. You just have to look for us. So my family is not huge, but because of the way my mother was and the things that she did for people, she would give you the shirt off her back if you needed it. Whether she had one or not, here you go, you take this, I'm here to help you. And so if we had not had that, we wouldn't have had the tribe that we have around us, the people that came to help with the funeral and everything and her care over the last few days and that kind of stuff. If I hadn't had that backup, I would be nowhere. But I had family, and then I had that extended tribe of women, mostly women now. And it's funny because we have a lot of great men in our family, but every man in our family loves the women. They're not the kind of men who don't see the value. They really see our value. And they really support us. So I don't think I would be as far if I didn't have that tribe or family tribe, which it's one and the same. Your family and your tribe tend to be just this extended circle that we used to have way, 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 way back. We had tribes and we had more than just a couple of people. And then we got into these little tiny family units, and all of a sudden, one or two of those family members is gone, and now you have no one, or you only have each other, and that can be hard. So we need to get back into that tribe and that community. And that was really what we wanted to create with the podcast, was a community of women empowering women, so that even in our differences, we were non-judgmental and we could support each other in our separate businesses. Even when my mom was alive, we used to have, we still have it, these like little cubbies filled with different women's items in case somebody comes over my house, in case we have an event and somebody wants to buy one of their items. And we've always done this. And that's just something that we've furthered with this house, is that we'll be able to help others in the future.
Oh, it's so awesome. And I love that you talk about a tribe. And just real quick before I dive into that, I want to give notice to a couple people because I've got a watch party and I'm watching the comments on the actual live. So if anybody sees me kind of bouncing while she's talking, that's what it is. I'm still working out the system to be able to see everybody's comments. So just Amanda, yes, this is going to be up on a replay so you can see it. And Teri, my girl Amanda Diskey, she has been going live consistently for her business. She's with It Works. And before she joined the tribe, she's in the tribe, she was deathly afraid to get on live.
Good job, girlfriend.
I said, get on there. Doesn't even matter. Talk about yourself, talk about your business, just get up there and do it. So I am super proud of her. Christy, I'm sorry for the disconnect. I was trying to find a good way to get the system, being that this is newer to me. I'm still working the bugs out. So for everybody, you get to see how this all starts. This is very raw. I'm not a professional at this yet, but it's coming. It's coming. So, so with everybody, I just wanted to kind of answer everybody's questions on that as they go. So I'm making sure to moderate so that everybody gets an opportunity. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. I will get to them as soon as possible. But going back to the tribe thing, I love that you say that because you talk about being non-judgmental. When I created my tribe, I remember on Facebook, I remember somebody asked me, was I going to monetize it? And I said, no, I don't want to monetize it. I said, my tribe, I want my tribe to be a community. And I had other people like, well, are you going to make it like a coaching tribe where you coach people? And I said, well, you know what? If people need help and I see that there's that pain there, then yeah. I said, but this is a space for women to feel safe. This is a space for women to create community. I mean, and these are your sisters, and this is your tribe. This is your community. Because I remember coming up and I was like, man, I want my tribe. You always hear people talking about it. It's like, I just want that group of women where it's just like, because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have my little girl group, you know. I was lucky to have like 2 fantastic friends in high school, which I'm still friends with now. But it's like, man, I would love to have that group of women that it's like, you know, you are like soul sisters with. And the further along I get in this journey, like, look, I found you. We found each other. I'm finding all these fantastic women. And it's like, so when I created that tribe, I was like, you know what, I want to encompass that. And I want it to be that space where you can come, and if you need something, someone's there. And, you know, if you want to talk to me, I'm there to talk to you and all that other stuff. So I was like, man, so I love hearing other women talk about tribe because I feel, and this is you guys understand that everything that I say or Teri says, this is a personal feeling. So it's a personal opinion. A personal opinion of mine is I feel that we are brought up as women to be very competitive against each other and to break each other down and tear each other down. And what we're not taught is how much more powerful it is. And I think there's definitely a reason behind that, but how much more powerful it is when we come together as women. That's why I wanted to do this show. I wanted to spotlight you guys, and I wanted to show that collaboration was where it's at. You know, we get so caught up in the, you know, I need to be successful, so I can't let this woman shine. And what we fail to realize is that by helping other women shine, it doesn't dull our light. You know, you shining on my show does not make me any less bright. In fact, it makes our light that much brighter. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love it. So, so having gone there, what does life look like now? You know, what is your life like now, having gone through all that stuff? And what is it that you find you still are working through? You know, because you know as well as I know, inner work, we've done our years. I've done 6. Inner work is forever. But I was telling another girl today, you just go through levels. Like with me now, it's figuring out how to balance my divine feminine and masculine and really heal those wounds. It's figuring out how to work with my Kundalini energy and all the other stuff that entails. And it's so, you know, it's just different levels and, you know, working through those levels and healing that. So what does your journey look like now?
Mine is still, especially right now, you know, the old fears and things like that, those are going to pop up for you. Those things are going to come up. And for me, it means I need to be more visible because I need to be out there healing. When you're healing others, they're healing you. So when you're out there sharing your energy and I'm reading cards, we're sharing energy and I am doing something for you, but in turn, you're doing something for me because it feels good to be able to offer advice to people and that kind of thing. But for me, it was fear about charging for those things. So my old money blocks and the money mindset and those kind of things that I'm still battling those things and still working on those things and realizing that, you know, I can't do everything. You have to remember that you're a team, that you're not just by yourself. You need to be, really tackling all of those old fears when they pop up. And none of us is perfect. I mean, I have my days where I reach out to my coaches and, ah, we all do that. We all have those days, especially when the moon is going and things are going crazy. And if you're empathic, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's really remembering to receive, to reach out and say to my other half, hey, I really need that hug. I really need some energy. I really need you guys to help me out by maybe doing some laundry for me or cleaning up in the kitchen for me so that I can do some of these other money making activities, the things that I need to do, the events that I need to do so that we are producing not only just our abundance, but more and more things that we can offer to other people. I need time to do that too. So it's about receiving and tackling those things when they come up and being able, for me, it's been really hard for me to say, you know what, sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I do these things wrong. And that was an old thing with my dad. If you admitted you were wrong, that was a big thing. And he loved to be right. And so of course I wanted to be right. And that was something I had to, and still have to all the time, remember that it doesn't matter if I'm right. It just matters if I am in integrity, if I'm living my life in the best way I possibly can, and if I am doing everything that I possibly can to keep my word, to do the things I can. And, nobody's perfect, but we battle those things as they come up like an onion. It keeps coming up and you think you hit it and then you go, oh, wait, that story came back again. For me, it was the picking up the phone and hearing, hey, I'm leaving. So for me, it was every time I use that phone, it's bad news. I'm anxious and I still to this day, there are times when my phone rings and my stomach drops and I get that anxious feeling and I have to remind myself, it's not, you need to know you're safe. No matter what happens right now, you're safe. You're not in the middle of the plains ready to die. You're not anywhere. You're safe. And I think it's important for us to remember that, we're safe unless we're not, in which case, please reach out to us because we'd like to be there to help. But it's, we have to really work hard at those things and remember that there are people here who actually want to help us. And it's okay to say, I don't got it. I need help. I need somebody to help me out here. I don't have it all. I don't have it all. All the balls aren't in the air. And we don't. Nobody has it all. The biggest thing for me is writing down every single thing that I'm going to do in a day. And I've been really bad at it lately too. So calling myself out. But writing down single thing I do. And I just was talking to a friend of mine, or one of my teammates today about this. Because as women, we do a lot in a day and we work really hard. And if at the end of the day, we look at the money end of it and we go, maybe that's not what I was expecting, then all of a sudden that blame comes back and we look at ourselves like we're not worthy. And we are enough. And it is coming. It just maybe isn't immediate.
And I really like that you touched on that because first of all, we have to, like, the receiving. I feel, and again, this is like something I feel that's really, really strongly put on women is we're not taught to ask. We're taught to just do, right? We're just taught to hold the family together, take care of the kids, do whatever it is. And asking for something makes us needy. Like we should be thankful that we have a house to take care of and kids to take care of. And I'm not knocking anybody who does that. That is a fantastic thing to be grateful for, but it is okay to ask. And when you're talking about the actual energies at play, that masculine, that feminine, that's what you should be doing, because the masculine energy wants to provide. But unless your feminine is asking, you're not going to receive it. And the other thing that I always struggled with was personal, like you talking about the whole feeling safe thing. My thing was when someone rejected something that maybe I said or whatever, even though it was most likely not personal, I took it as a personal rejection on myself. And obviously they don't like me. And it was really detrimental to me. And it very much affected a lot of stuff that I did when I got older. And I got afraid of putting myself out there and asking for things and talking. Like I remember being in relationships, and if, men maybe didn't want to be with me right away in a sexual way, I'm just gonna be very honest, I felt personally Lord, I felt personally rejected. Like, oh my God, like it's, what am I doing? And it, and I had to deal with that. That was something even up till the last year that I dealt with, feeling that every rejection that I got was a personal attack on me. And yeah, so it's like, no matter how far you go along in this, you're always still going. Like, so I love that you I love that you touched on that. I mean, I always feel like we touch on such wonderful stuff. So I really want, because I know you really wanted to bring this up, so I really want you to tell everybody about what the work is that you're doing now, besides you're selling your shampoo. So tell everybody about the Goddess deck. I know we touched a little bit on your podcast. You're hitting 1,000 viewers. That's awesome. So what are your plans going forward with everything? Like, what are you looking at doing in the next year, so that everybody understands? Because you came from that one extreme of being an addict, single mom, being in this crazy headspace. Now, where are you at? What's that look like?
So for the next, well, we'll go into the next 6 months. I'm going to be writing the Warrior Goddess deck. I have opened up appointments in my schedule to start doing card reads, either in person or on Zoom. 3 card reads or the Warrior Goddess read, in which I'm doing a free giveaway on that too. If they go over and take my hair quiz, they can go to the free giveaway. I'm going to gift one lucky winner tomorrow night a session with me. It's at least an hour-long session, doing a card read where I will write the Warrior Goddess card for that person. So that's another offer that I'm coming up with. And the podcast, we're definitely bringing in a lot more people. We may speed up our episodes a little too, depending on, we're starting to really fill up and get a lot of people interested in sharing their voice. And that's the idea, is to empower other women. I'm losing the light. Hold on. Let me
you're good. And while you do that, I'm actually going to answer. So Angela Luongo Conti, is she a friend of yours too, Teri? Are you friends with Teri's too, Angela? I don't know if you're on there. But yes, thank you for sharing. And it is inspiring. She says she's 59 and still battling. So you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm 30 and Teri?
I'm almost 50.
Okay. So I don't want any woman, man, to ever think that you reach this certain age and it all makes sense. Because, honestly, they say the moment you quit learning in life is actually the day you really die. The moment you say, hey, I get it all. And the biggest thing that I think really tripped me out but made me view things differently is the sooner you acknowledge that you really don't know anything, that's when your world opens up. Because now you're like, okay, I don't really know anything per se. So the world, the world is now open to me. Like now, to me, knowing that, I go out into the world and go, okay, what am I going to learn today?
Yeah.
What is going to happen today that's going to enrich my life? Like, whether it's a piece of shadow inside of myself that I haven't worked with yet, or, am I going to work, am I going to meet someone and I'm going to be a mirror for them today? What is going to happen? So going back now, because I don't want to get too far, like, yeah, what is the next 6 months? You said you're releasing the Goddess card. You're bringing more people onto the podcast, which I'm putting it out there now. I will be on your podcast soon. I just feel it's coming.
It's coming, girl.
So, yeah. And so then, yeah, what else is going on in the next 6 months? I'm excited for you. Like,
I will also be adding more speaking engagements. I am now the most successful motivational and empowerment speaker in the world. Women, of course.
oh my God, Mel Robbins.
Right.
Scoot over.
Yeah.
Scoot over.
I
Although
don't
she
want to
does it
step on anyone's toes, but I'm coming out. And as soon as I started saying that, I started getting speaking engagements. I have another one coming up in October. I have one coming up next week that's on Facebook. So I will be taking on more and more speaking engagements where I will share my motivational and empowerment stories and tips and tricks and all that fun stuff. I also have 3 free groups. Journey of Empowerment, which is for anyone who's hurting, lost, needs somewhere to go to not sit in victimhood, but be supported. Our Journey of Empowerment, which is our sister group, which is all the amazing women. It started with a walking group and it just became a very large group. And then our Empower Hour, which is more geared toward entrepreneurs. And we're really starting to gear that one up. So
Oh, I might
I've got a few communities that are coming up and coming and moving and growing. So that's on my list for the next year.
Oh man, and Angela is just going off. Angela, you're going to be like the MVP. Amanda was my MVP last the first episode, but Angela's like going off over here. So she is sharing, and she says great group because even at different ages and stages, we can support and empower. And you know what? That is the honest to God truth.
That
And
is so true. As a matter of fact, my team with my MLM ranges from the youngest person on like my team myself would be mid-20s, and the oldest woman on my team, I don't want to give out too many specifics, but she's over 60. And that is the age range of women on my team who said yes to changing their lives and doing something different and becoming shampoo dealers, because drug dealers doesn't go over very well anymore. And
Side note, I was a certified pharmacy technician for 5 years. I did
that
with Big Pharma. And I used to love to tell people, they'd be like, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I sell drugs legally. Every time they'd be like, wait, what? I said, it's the best thing ever. Oh my gosh, Teri, do you know we are at 8:21?
What?
I know.
We burned through daylight, girlfriend.
It did. It went. I swear to you, these episodes go so quickly. But you know what? Since we're putting this out there, I'm going to have a YouTube show. This is going to turn into a YouTube show. I'm telling you. You know what impact theory is with Tom Bilyeu?
Yep.
This is the next one. But for women. For women.
Right. For women.
So you guys, and here's the thing, and what we're doing is law of attraction stuff, putting it out into the world. The secret, and this is what I've learned about the law of attraction, it's not just enough that you believe it and you speak it, it's that you put action in towards it. The action is backing up the belief, right? So the action is when you say, okay, when I say, or when Teri says, I'm going to go become a speaker, it means she now puts in action to go find speaking gigs and put herself in places where people who are looking for speakers can find her. When I said, okay, I'm a speaker, I changed stuff on my profile that said public speaker. And when I became a coach, I changed all my stuff to, this is what I am. I'm a coach. And then what I started doing, and what Teri, what you do too, is you back it up with the action, because you already know that that's what it is. That's the secret behind it. And that's why when you ask what's the secret to getting these things, is getting started.
Yep.
You believe that this is going to happen. You know that this is going to happen. Go ahead and just start doing it, because you know it's happening. So you might as well start doing it.
Yep. Face the fear. And I think that's the hardest part, is facing that fear every time it comes up and you say, oh shoot, we have to move through it. We have to go through it.
Yep. So Teri, tell everybody where they can find you, since we are coming up on the end of this. Tell everybody where they can find you. And real quick, to anybody who comes on late, this will be up for a bit. And once I get through this first week of episodes, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the replays on the days where I don't have actual live episodes. We'll go ahead and do replays. And I will be editing these episodes, and they will start going up on the YouTube channel soon. Whoop, whoop. So you guys get ready for that. That's coming. That's happening. But being a solopreneur, coach, everything else,
Yep.
this myself right now, so it's coming. It's just give me some time. But yeah, so Teri, tell everybody where you can find them.
You can find me on Facebook at Teri Tomasetti, TeriTom, ass in the middle, ETTI. How they remember it. I mean, my mother used to say it all the time. It's the only way to remind them. Same thing over on Instagram and in my groups, Journey of Empowerment, Empower Hour, and Empowering Sisters.
Okay, and just for everybody's sake, Teri, if you want to, when we get done with this, go ahead in the comments and drop links to your group. So anybody who's looking for that. I'm also going to do a shameless plug and drop the link to my tribe, which is the TUF Woman Tribe. And that is for any woman that really wants to live authentically, free from fear, confident in who they are, empowered as fuck to go out and live their best life. I'll go ahead and drop the link to that. We are a fun group. It's all about really building that sisterhood and empowering women to go out there. I have quite a few women that come on here and do it. And I love to get on there and drop as much value as I can. We talked one week about going live on Facebook, why that's important, especially if you're in something like network marketing. It's extremely important. And what is the correct way to go live when you're talking about bringing on clients and things like that and customers and stuff? So we really go there. I like to talk a lot about mindset and having a magnetic mindset. So that's my group. I'll drop the link in that as well. And yeah, look Teri up, you guys. Please look her up. She does these lives every day where she's going to pull these cards, and they are just so timely. She pulled one for me today that was like right on track. And if I didn't have 6 interviews today when you pulled that, I probably would have been like, okay, you know what? It's time for a nap.
Right?
For a nap. But lo and behold, I had 6 interviews, and I'm very thankful. I told one girl, I said, every time I have these interviews, even though I'm very tired sometimes, it's like I get a personal empowerment speech with every single one of them.
Yep.
And it makes me so excited to bring them on because each woman's story is so different. But the common thread is they all went through something that they might have deemed failure, but they're like, I learned something so much. Mm-hmm. And the biggest takeaway I got from it is the only time we fail is when we stop.
Yep.
When we think our failures are really just things for us to learn, okay, what do I learn from it? And what do I need to do better next time? Or what do I need to pivot, you know?
Because we can't do better until we know better.
Exactly. And we can't, know better until we learn what we did,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this was episode 2. Oh my gosh. Guys, just remember, for everybody watching this, when we hit YouTube live, y'all, I'm going to have y'all up in there. I'm going to just broadcast the whole audience. Okay. Just remember that. But, all right. So this is the part where I give the outro. I just want to give a huge thank you to Teri for coming on and doing her damn thing. Aww. Teri, Tom, ass in the middle, ETTI. I'm going to forever remember that. I also want to thank everybody for taking time out of your day to come in and join on the conversation. You guys don't have to be here, but you are, and that's phenomenal. I just want to say that the last episode now is almost up to 600 views, and it is because of y'all. Like, literally, you guys are awesome. So make sure to set your notifications to on for me. If you're not following me or Teri or anybody else that comes with this, make sure you're following me. Make sure your notifications are on so you know when I go live. And just so you know, going forward, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this page will be the show, TUF Woman Table. Next week, we have episodes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have episode 3 tomorrow and episode 4 on Friday. Oh my gosh, you guys. So again, make sure to set your notifications on for me. Go follow Teri. She's freaking awesome. You'll love her. Know that we go live, and tune in next time for another badass conversation at the TUF Woman Table, you guys. Yay! All right, you guys, have an awesome night, and see y'all later.